Long Island officials are tracking the storm, which is expected to get more intense overnight. You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. High winds and flood warnings are in effect for Long Island. In fact, winds might get up to 70 miles per hour. I am here with meteorologist Rich Von Olen. You're going to tell us more. So how bad is it going to get?
Yeah, rough night. Very bad with rain and wind and, maybe some flooding, coastal flooding, the whole thing. Everything but snow this time because it's not cold enough. But, it's like a spring storm coming up the eastern seaboard. A lot of areas, many states getting just hit with this big mess with rain, thunderstorms, wind, even some tornado warnings earlier. So this is just going to churn up the eastern seaboard as we go throughout the next 24 hours. It'll be out of here by tomorrow. But before it does, it's a rough night of weather. We'll talk more about it and track it for you coming up.
Thanks so much, Rich. Now, Governor Kathy Hochul just gave her third State of the State address, where she touched on public safety, the cost of living, and the health of New Yorkers, especially pregnant women.
I want to make New York the first state in the nation to offer prenatal leave. We must protect women from unnecessary surgeries that put them at risk.
Hochul also unveiled new initiatives to crack down on hate crimes across the state.
So we propose to make more than 24 additional offenses, from gang assaults to graffiti, eligible for prosecution as hate crimes. This means enhanced liability, sentences, and ultimately, it means we're standing up for what's right. We will protect the people of this state.
Now, you can read more about the governor's State of the State on Newsday.com. And the new Brookhaven town supervisor is looking to fast-track affordable housing. Here's Dan Panico being sworn into office on Monday. The 45-year-old says he plans to reduce the time it takes to approve projects and build housing that Brookhaven residents say they need. Panico's predecessor, Ed Romaine, became the Suffolk County executive last week. And after nearly a century, Our Lady of Mercy Academy is closing in June. The Syosset All-Girls High School says changing demographics and lower enrollment is to blame. For instance, less than a decade ago, there were 100 students in each grade. And during this year's freshman class, there were 37. The closing will now leave Long Island with only one all-girls Catholic high school and one all-boys Catholic high school. And Chuck E. Cheese is getting a technology makeover. That means jumbo video walls, interactive dance floors, and new arcade games. There are 4 Long Island locations getting remodeled, and a new Chuck E. Cheese is coming to Valley Stream. Now, the Hicksville location is one of the few centers that still has that generational animatronics band. A new professional sport is coming to UBS Arena. The Professional Women's Hockey League is playing tomorrow night. It's New York against Montreal, and puck drops at 7 p.m. All right, back to the coastal storm coming to Long Island, and for that, we'll send things over to Rich.
All right, thanks, Ken. Yeah, big trouble tonight with this major rainstorm, heavy downpours, winds gusting up to 70 miles per hour in spots, and this will go through early Wednesday morning. So the rush is going to be a little bit tough with the residual effects, but things will be winding down. How bad? Yeah, very bad with the rain, showers, and flooding. It's not snow, it's not ice. But again, anytime you get winds and rain like this, it's going to cause quite a problem. So 40s overnight. Again, it's not cold, but it is coming down in buckets. High wind warning remains in effect for the entire island going into early on Wednesday. And again, the flood watch, the flood warning starting to pop up. Wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of those overnight heading into the day on Wednesday. And the coastal flood warning with the big winds coming off the ocean. Some areas, Lindenhurst, some of the tides here. Again, you've got another cycle coming up throughout the morning on Wednesday. So again, some of the tides, the waters will probably not recede that fast, and it could be a little bit of a rough go here throughout the morning for the Great South Bay. So again, the temperatures stay in the 40s. Again, we're not getting cold, but we are getting, just really buckets of rain. Look at the yellows, the oranges here all throughout the island. This will be overnight, and then as we get towards Wednesday, figure towards midday afternoon, we start to get a clearing, so we start to settle things down nicely at a nice quiet pattern going into Thursday and Friday until we get to Friday night and Saturday with another rainstorm coming in. But again, rain amounts, inch and a half, maybe up to 2.5 inches in spots. That's enough to cause some flooding. Look at the winds coming off the ocean, 60, 65 miles per hour at times, some of the areas on the east end, and then more of a westerly breeze. Still gusty on Wednesday, but it's not crazy windy. And here's our next storm we watch, Friday night and Saturday. Notice it's not blue, it's green and yellow again. That's going to mean more rain coming in. Maybe by next week into Monday and Tuesday, there could be some big snow here. We'll watch that throughout the next few days. But until then, we've got heavy rain overnight. We've got some gusty winds. We got some 40s. We'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Home Tax Saver, PTRC Incorporated.
It's the Veto that has grieving families across the state and here on Long Island reeling. Steve Langford has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
You know, my family is not the first to suffer such a terrible tragedy. Unfortunately, we've met a bunch. And to think that our state isn't looking for a way to protect grieving families is mind-boggling.
Gary Falkowitz and his family have been through hell, he says, since May 3rd last year, when the car his 14-year-old son Ethan and friend Drew Hassenbein were in was hit by a pickup truck driven by a man police say was drunk and speeding and going the wrong way down North Broadway in Jericho. There are 3 states that bar claims for grief and mental anguish caused by wrongful deaths: Alabama, Delaware, and New York. Falkowitz was surprised, to say the least, that the current New York State statute allows civil court judgments only for monetary loss or the potential earning loss of the deceased, which would exclude children and others not working.
The more I thought about it, the more it dawned on me that it was pretty ludicrous that something like this didn't exist.
Bipartisan bill with wide support in Albany called the Grieving Families Act would allow families to recover damages for emotional suffering. But just before the new year, Governor Hochul vetoed the Grieving Families Act for the 2nd year in a row.
The governor is putting businesses and insurance companies ahead of victims.
Governor Hochul says the statute must be updated, but the proposed act would lead to increased insurance premiums for the vast majority of consumers.
I wake up and I still think that this is a nightmare. So I'm very grateful for my wife and my other kids. But I'll have a hole in my heart for the rest of my life.
Gary Falkowitz says he will do anything in his power to fight for the Grieving Families Act.
I will be a voice and a face to this change. I know it's the right thing to do. And anything on behalf of my son will always be a great guide for me.
Steve Langford for NewsdayTV.
Now, to read more about the effects of the veto, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Looking for a getaway close to home with an all-inclusive vibe? Well, Lisa DiStefano has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Relaxing and rejuvenating resorts right here on Long Island. Get away without going far away. Here at the East Wind in Wading River, experience an on-site staycation. Explore the 28-acre property and hotel. Choose from a variety of guest rooms, including the lavish Ambassador Suite. So cozy. Just doing my research. Could leave me here for a little while. There's an indoor pool, gym, a full-service salon, and 10,000 square foot spa. You can get a side-by-side massage and a soak. Doesn't this look so relaxing? And unwind in this relaxation room before or after any service. Enjoy lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch at Desmond's, their full-service restaurant. There are more dining options and 28 shops a parking lot away at the Shops at the East Wind. For something sweet, a pinch of sprinkles just opened. Look at this. They serve the most decadent desserts. I don't know what to dig into first, but this one's calling for me. If you want to treat yourself to a beach getaway, you can go out east to Gurney's Montauk Resort and Seawater Spa. The resort features 158 rooms, suites, and beachfront cottages, all with panoramic water views. At the newly renovated spa, there's new bathhouse-style experiences that complement the spa's ocean-fed seawater pool. Enjoy fine dining at Scarpetta Beach and the property's seasonal igloos by the sea. And of course, a beautiful beach walk at your leisure. Further west, there's the Northport Hotel. The boutique hotel in the heart of historic Northport offers 26 mid-century modern-style guest rooms. Have dinner in the hotel's restaurant before catching a show. The owners also operate the John W. Engelman Theater. Enjoy the charm of Northport and the luxury of the hotel. And a winter break at the many staycation destinations here on Long Island.
It's so peaceful in here, I may not ever leave. Elisa DiStefano, Newsday TV.
Looks very relaxing. Now, to read more about the all-in-one resorts, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
In this day and age of social media and of misinformation everywhere you look, it's so critical for my work to come from a respected, trusted source where readers know they can trust it day in and day out.
Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you now with a look at your 7-day forecast.